Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to take a look at the new Colourblend color pencils from Spectrum Noir, and these came out just probably a month or two ago to replace the old Spectrum Noir blendable color pencils. And I've been playing around with both of them and comparing them, and I have to say that the colors themselves are pretty much the same. I find the wax to be very similar. The big difference would be that the size of the pencils, the new ones have a bigger casing, so it's more comfortable to hold, and also the size of the leads appear to be a little bit thicker, so like the core of the pencil seems to be a little bit thicker in the new version. But as far as the colors and how they blend, I found them to be quite comparable. In fact, let me grab my my pad of paper where I swatched out everything in the primary set so you can take a look at the comparison. And this is, I'm just using the Canson XL pastel paper. I hadn't seen this in stores, but I found some at Martin's for $3 a pack, so I thought I'd give it a try. And here I swatched out just one of the sets, the basics, because I figured that's probably what most people start with. I did the new ones and then the old ones underneath. I tried blending them just dry, and I did the same thing for all the colors there. I was missing one of the old Spectrum Noir pencils because I let the kids use them, and you know, sometimes they roll under a couch or something, they go missing. I also wanted to try the new versus old with the blending with the Gamsol. So this would be the old one, which I've used before. Blends out really nicely. Okay, I'll use the other, well, let me just scribble it off onto the edge of a scrap paper because I don't want to, I have green on the other end, so I don't want to get that in the red. And I'll just do it up here with the new stuff, same thing. Still works just fine. I really didn't find a big difference in the quality between the old ones and the new ones, although the new release may have solved some quality control issues that that arise. I didn't have a problem with my original pencils. I bought them when they first came out, when I saw a good deal on them. And I never had an issue. Some people complained of breaking leads and different things like that. That could have been shipping issues, but I had no problems with them. But the new ones came out, and my friends over at Hallmark Scrapbook sent me some to review and to try out, and I will have links in the video description to all these pencils. They are affiliate links. I do receive a small percentage if you do buy them. But I thought we'd just do kind of a demo with these, and you can see how they work for yourself. Now, I have very lightly sketched on a flower here. It's kind of like a really fluffy daisy. Actually, I think it might be a type of mum, but I'm not sure. It's kind of daisy-ish. But I figured I'd sketch it on a piece of white paper with a dark pencil, just so you could see. Actually, why don't I use a marker here? And I'm gonna start by making an oval. So do this really light on your paper because you're gonna want to erase some of it. And then I'm gonna put like a semicircle in the middle for the center. And then I'm gonna draw petals kind of almost out to the edge, just oval petals. And then as they get around to the side, we're going to have some foreshortening, so we're going to see really short petals behind that semicircle, and they're going to get longer as they come out. That oval helps us put everything kind of in perspective. I shouldn't have had it come out so far and back. Let's shorten that up a little bit just for your benefit. And I will put a link to the flower that I am sketching. It's from Paint My Photo. I'll put that link in the video description, and you can take as much time as you want in your drawing. I just wanted to give you the gist, and then I would go in and erase the circles that I made. And the leaves are they're these kind of triple pointed leaves, kind of like poison ivy, and then they have little bumps on them, kind of like that, and you can put as many of those in as you like. But that's the basic sketch. And then you put a couple leaves, you know, off of the stem if you want to. Fill your page however you like. So I thought I would have this right on this paper since it's right next to one I just colored, so that you can kind of see how we're going to approach this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay. Good grief, there we go. And we're going to start coloring. I'm going to go in with my lightest color first. I'm going to take this Bumblebee Yellow. Oh, and for the colors, some of you had asked me how the colors relate compared to the other the other line, because the other ones had numbers on them and these have names, you can just go ahead and print out the list of the new colors with each set. The colors will correspond on the back. If I look, the only difference is the marine. They've renamed that set to shade and tone. So other than that, they're going to be the same. Let me just grab two primaries. That's a good example. So if you look on the back, you have that chart, right, with the numbers. And then if you go to the website, you download the chart. Let me find the primaries here. They are going to be the same colors. These are the ones I swatched out. They might look a little different in the packaging, but they're the same colors. Okay, so you can just write down the name if you want to. I really don't think it's important to know the names necessarily, because I just kind of go with whatever's closest, so you can follow along with whatever brand you have. But that some people did ask me that when they saw that I had these, and I thought I would just say this. Yes, they're the same colors. Just go find the set that you have and print out the color chart from the old style and the new style, or just print out the new style and look at your tins, and then just transcribe them. Not a big deal. Same exact colors. And I really didn't find that much difference as far as handling them, so I wouldn't go and buy them all over again if you already have them. I think as long as they're not breaking and you're happy with the quality of them. There may have been some batches out there that weren't very good. That's the only thing I can think of why they would release them. I do like the thicker barrels. They're more comfortable to hold. But you know, that's something if that was bothering you, or if you've really used a lot of them up and you feel like you'd like to have the thicker leads, then hey, that's another reason you might want to get them. I also want to recommend that if you have any strength issues such as arthritis, this is like a peachy color, it's called Buttercup. I'm just kind of doing the middles of some of these petals. If you have any strength issues, you might not like colored pencil, or you might want to work on white paper and blend with a Gamsol, this stuff right here, or odorless mineral spirits like I just showed you, because it's a lot easier on your wrists because you don't have to apply so much pressure. And you take your time. I'm putting this in fairly quickly because I've just done it over there, so I don't really need to take too much time. And I'm going to go in with something a little bit darker in the orange variety. This is Saffron. I picked out some from some different sets. Use what you have, whatever sets you have, whatever brand you have. You don't need to have these to do that. I haven't really played with these enough to compare them. I don't do color pencil work that much, so I wouldn't feel right comparing them with too many other brands. The upside to these is that if you buy a set of 24, there's no repeats in the other sets of 24. So if you're on a budget and you want to buy one set this month and then use them and buy another set in the next month, you're not going to have duplicates. Like a lot of times when you buy markers or pencils in sets, if you buy the 12 set and then you go get the 24 set, the 12 of those colors are going to be repeated in the 24 set, and so on and so forth. Which might work out if you happen to use those colors more often than others, but a lot of times it ends up with you buying duplicates that you can't use up fast enough. So I do like that they have different colors in each set. I think that's really smart. The drawback right now is that there are no refills. I'm going darker as I get closer to the center, by the way. And that one's really not. That one's really similar to the other color. I'm going to go with this darker flame red. So the downside is that at the moment you can't just go in and buy, like you use up flame red, you can't buy flame red, or more likely you drop it and you break the lead and oh well, it keeps breaking when you sharpen it, so you want to replace it. Right now you can't just buy one color. I think they'll probably come out with that if these become very popular, because they did that with the markers. You can buy their markers individually, and it started off just in packs of 6 or larger packs. So that possibility may come down the road, but right now it's not a possibility. So that's, if you love them and you use like a couple up, you're not going to be able to just buy a couple. You'd have to buy the set that they came in at this moment. So I did want to tell you that, because I think that's a big deterrent, and I don't blame you if that would keep you from buying them. I don't blame you at all. I find that my collection tends to outpace my using in colored pencils, because they do take a long time to use up. I rarely have to buy any individuals. So I don't know how much of a problem that really is. Probably more for like people doing pencil artwork versus occasional like stamp coloring. When you're doing like big paintings, you're going to use them up. I'm going to quickly just scribble in there to cover this up. And get that kind of in there. And I want to add some more yellows here in the center. Going with this is maize. There are a lot of colors that are very similar too in the set. There's 120 in total. Kind of like most companies tend to like that number. let's see, this is raspberry. I want to see how this looks. I don't know if I used any brown in the other one. I think I'll stick with these colors I have out here. I should have kept all my colors out from the last time I did it. So, you know, that's a good amount of color. You end up with stuff that's kind of close, though, between those colors. And granted, you need more colors to blend with colored pencil, but these blend pretty well, and you can make bigger jumps than you can with like markers. So like if you're comparing this with alcohol markers and you have to have really close ones to blend well, it's not as much of an issue with the pencils. I find that especially if you lay down your lightest color first and you're working on a fairly textured paper like this, you can keep building up your layers until you're happy with what you have. So I mean, I wouldn't just get 12. Luckily they come in sets of 24, so you do have a decent amount of colors. And they're not that expensive. Hallmark Scrapbook has them on sale. I think they're about $25 a set. They might be less, I'm not sure. They usually have the best prices while they're in stock. They sell out fast, but they generally have the best prices. And that's not bad considering, you know, they're pretty good quality pencils. They're supposedly quite light fast, and they definitely do blend well. And I'm able to put a lot of layers on here, even though I'm working fairly quickly. Now I want to do a little highlighting. I think I'm going to go right in with white because it's not going to look white. It's going to pick up the colors underneath and lighten up those petals. You can kind of see right there. Gosh, I hope my hand wasn't in the way the whole time. I might not be able to use this video. That would be a bummer. But if I was doing the white like right on the paper, it would be gleaming white. But since I'm going over color I've already applied, it's just going to lighten what I have underneath. See that? It's going to give me some nice highlights. You can do a little bit in the center too. These pencils are not as opaque as Prismacolor or Color Soft. They're more translucent, kind of like your Lyra or Polychromos. They've got that. They've got a more transparent look to them. I don't think they're as high quality as Polychromos, but they're not bad. Alright, now to add some really deep shadows, I'm going to go in with some purple, because purple is the opposite of orange. No, it's not, it's the opposite of yellow, I mean. And that really helps the colors stand out and really gives me my shadows that I've been trying to impart here. Now, because these are fairly thick lead and soft, I can lay down color pretty quickly, and I can work in the sketchy fashion that I like to work in. I don't know about sharpening them to a fine point and doing a ton of detail work, because that's not really how I work, but I think it would work all right. They're fairly hard lead. They're not as soft as like a Color Soft or a Prismacolor, but they are, but they do blend pretty well. I'm just throwing that in there, get a little bit of darks in right off the bat. Now I'm going to color in with some green. I think what I'll do is I'll start with this lightest color. This is pear green, and give it a coat everywhere. Give it a nice even coat of green. And the same process for all the leaves pretty much. Then I'll go a little bit darker. I've got this, this is peacock green, but it doesn't really look that bluish to me. I don't want to go too dark with this because I'm going to want to be able to lighten it and tip the color a little bit more yellowy. I'm going to go in and add my shading here. And then I can go over with a really warm yellow like this, oh, let's try this. This Bumblebee. We used that as the first color that we used in the flowers. You can throw that in there. And it's a little too bright, so I'm going to go in with this maize color. And the more color you put down, the more it's going to clog the tooth and almost act as a resist for further layers of color. So you do want to be careful that, that you don't really fill it up until you're ready to clog the tooth. And I want a little more shape to this leaf, so I'm going to go back in with the dark and shape it a little bit more. And you can see how it's not putting down as much color as it was before because I'm going over all those waxy layers. And I need a little bit more of a lighter color. This color's kind of pretty. These do fit in most of your standard sharpeners. I found that the other ones were a little bit smaller and were a little loose in my regular sharpeners. I just sharpened this in my comb sharpener and it worked really well, and I used this office supply store one earlier and it worked well too, so I think you'd be all set no matter what you wanted to do there. But you do all the leaves pretty much the same way, just kind of look at the reference photo and adjust as you see fit or as you would like. I feel like I maybe want a little bit of brown in here, so I'm gonna look, I think I'll grab this russet color. So these have indexing on the ends for your colors, so it's pretty easy to pick out, although they're not exactly perfect. This one looks really red, and the color here is a little bit more brown, but that's pretty typical no matter what you're using, whether it's a marker or a pencil. I don't usually bother to swatch out my wax-based pencils because I find that I can look at the lid and get a really good idea of what the color is. I always swatch out my watercolor pencils though, because since they're a transparent medium, the tips are going to be very deceiving as opposed to what you're getting. So even I don't even trust the end coating on my watercolor pencils. I always swatch them out just so I know exactly what I'm going to get, because they tend to look either too dark or too light compared to what their actual color is. And I'll do a little bit of this because it is a reddish brown, and that will tone down my green a little bit. But of course, take your time and really enjoy the process, and this will work with whatever you're using for colored pencils. I just wanted to get this quick drawing demo and coloring demo down for you so you'd have something to play with today. And if you are interested in these pencils, these Spectrum Noir color blends, I will have a link in the video description to Hallmark Scrapbook where you can pick them up. I thank them for sending me these because they're a lot of fun. I always love playing with new pencils, and I thank you for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like this video. And until next time, happy crafting.